Hello there, wonderful friends. It's such a genuine pleasure to be sharing a little time with you today. I hope you're settled in somewhere comfortable, maybe with a nice warm drink beside you. Let's just chat for a bit, shall we? I wanted to start by asking you something that might sound familiar. Do you ever find that your hands and feet feel like they belong to someone else, like little blocks of ice even when you've got the heat turned up or you're snuggled under a cozy blanket? It's a peculiar feeling, isn't it? Maybe it's that strange fuzzy sensation, those pins and needles that seem to creep in when you stand up after sitting for a while, making you pause for a moment just to feel steady again. Or perhaps it's the simple act of getting dressed in the morning. Do your fingers sometimes feel a bit stiff and uncooperative when you're trying to manage those small buttons on a shirt, or maybe even just zipping up a jacket? Holding your favorite morning mug might not feel quite as secure as it used to. Even simple, enjoyable things like perhaps knitting a little something for the grandkids or writing a letter to a dear friend can become unexpectedly challenging when your fingers just don't feel quite right, when they feel chilled deep down or slightly numb. It's more than just a minor annoyance, isn't it? It can be truly frustrating, day in and day out, dealing with that persistent chill, that feeling of sluggishness in your limbs. It can make you feel, well, tired. Not just physically tired, from trying to warm up or shake off that numbness, but emotionally tired too. It can sometimes feel limiting, like it's holding you back from doing the little things you enjoy, making you think twice before heading out on a cooler day, or maybe even making you feel a bit disconnected from your own body. You might find yourself constantly rubbing your hands together, tucking your feet under cushions or layering up even indoors, searching for that elusive warmth. And sometimes, there's a little worry that whispers in the back of your mind about what it all means. But please take a gentle breath. What if I told you today that there might be a very simple, very natural way to gently encourage better blood flow, to help nudge that warmth from the inside out, reaching all the way to your fingertips and toes, something that doesn't involve complicated routines or expensive gadgets, but rather something wonderfully simple, perhaps even truly delicious, that might already be waiting quietly in your kitchen pantry or sitting right there in your refrigerator? It sounds almost too good to be true, I know. But stick with me for just a little while longer. Let's explore this together, because we're going to talk about exactly that. Simple kindnesses you can do for your body, using the gifts nature offers. There's hope in simplicity sometimes. If this feels like your mornings or even your evenings, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your experience. Subscribe and stick around for a simple fix that might just help bring a little warmth back. Now, as we settle into our chat today, let me tell you what delightful discoveries we have planned. We're going to gently uncover 3 absolutely wonderful, everyday foods, things you likely know well, that gentle scientific whispers suggest can be real allies in supporting your body's natural circulation. And the best part? We're focusing purely on wholesome foods, no complicated pills or supplements needed for these particular tips. Just simple goodness straight from nature's pantry. Think of it as giving your body a helping hand using things that are already familiar and comforting. Beyond these 3 main helpers, I also have a lovely little surprise bonus tip tucked away for you. Something extra, just a little treat to consider. And to really bring it all home, I want to share a truly heartwarming and inspiring story later on about someone just like us, navigating their golden years, who found some genuine comfort and relief by embracing these simple ideas. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, perhaps with a perfectly understandable hint of skepticism, food? Really? Can eating a bit differently truly make a noticeable difference with something as fundamental as circulation, especially when I've felt this chill for so long? It does sound remarkably simple, doesn't it? Especially in a world that often pushes complex solutions. You might have even tried other things before that didn't quite deliver, leaving you feeling a little discouraged. And that's completely okay. We're not talking about miracle cures here, not at all. What we are talking about are gentle nudges, small consistent acts of kindness towards your body that, over time, might just help things feel a little bit better, a little warmer, a little more comfortable. These aren't drastic changes. They are easy, accessible steps using foods that are readily available in almost any grocery store and usually quite affordable too. No need for fancy culinary degrees or special equipment. So please relax. If you haven't already, grab that cozy cup of tea. Maybe pull that favorite Afghan over your lap. Settle back into your most comfortable chair. And let's embark on this gentle exploration together. Let's see if we can uncover some simple kitchen secrets to help you feel your best. All right, let's dive into our very first friendly food helper. We're starting with something wonderfully green and vibrant. Those lovely leafy greens. I'm talking about things like tender spinach, perhaps some sturdy kale, beautiful Swiss chard with its colorful stems, or even familiar collard greens or slightly peppery arugula. These aren't just pretty additions to your plate. They hold a special secret when it comes to helping our circulation. What makes them so beneficial? Well, deep inside these leaves are natural compounds, specifically things called nitrates, which our bodies cleverly convert into something called nitric oxide. Now that might sound a tad technical, but think of it this way. Nitric oxide acts like a gentle messenger telling the muscles in your blood vessel walls to relax and widen just a little bit. Imagine a garden hose that's gotten slightly kinked or maybe just a bit stiff from the cold. The water flow slows down, doesn't it? It struggles to get through smoothly. These leafy greens, through this nitric oxide magic, act a bit like gently smoothing out those kinks, allowing the hose, your blood vessels, to open up more easily. This means your blood can flow more freely, more effortlessly, carrying warmth and vital oxygen all the way down to your fingers and toes, helping to ease that chilly feeling. It's like improving the water pressure in your internal plumbing system. Reputable researchers and nutrition scientists have consistently found that including these types of greens in our diet is truly remarkable for supporting overall cardiovascular health and promoting healthy blood flow. So the wonderful news is, getting more of these beneficial greens into your day can be surprisingly simple and tasty. You could try tossing a generous handful of fresh baby spinach into your morning scrambled eggs or omelet. It wilts down beautifully and adds a lovely touch of green. How about adding some chopped kale or chard to your favorite hearty soup or stew during the last few minutes of cooking? They add lovely texture and soak up the flavors. Even just a simple side salad with mixed greens alongside your lunch or dinner makes a difference. Or perhaps blending some spinach into a fruit smoothie. You often can't even taste it. Just remember, a little bit here and there throughout the week really does add up. Now here's a very important gentle reminder. These wonderful greens are rich in vitamin K, which plays a role in blood clotting. So, if you happen to be taking a blood-thinning medication such as warfarin, sometimes called Coumadin, it's absolutely essential to have a quick chat with your doctor or healthcare provider before making any big increases in your leafy green intake. They can advise you on how to balance things safely. It's not about avoiding them, just about being mindful and keeping your doctor informed. Safety first, always. Moving on to our second delightful circulation supporter. Let's talk about adding a splash of vibrant color and natural sweetness to your meals with berries. Oh, those beautiful little jewels of nature. Think plump blueberries, sweet raspberries, juicy strawberries, perhaps some deep dark blackberries or even cranberries. These aren't just a treat for the taste buds. They are absolutely brimming with potent natural compounds, particularly antioxidants and flavonoids. Now, antioxidants is a word we hear quite often. But what do they actually do for our circulation? Think of them as tiny, dedicated protectors, like little bodyguards for your blood vessels. Over time, our bodies naturally experience a bit of wear and tear, and sometimes things called free radicals can cause damage, potentially making the walls of our blood vessels a bit less flexible, a little stiffer. Imagine the hinges on an old garden gate that haven't been oiled in a while. They get rusty, stiff, and the gate doesn't swing open smoothly anymore. Well, the antioxidants in berries act like a natural lubricant and rust protector for those internal hinges, helping to combat that damage and keep your blood vessel walls more supple, more flexible, more youthful. When your vessels are flexible, your blood can flow through them much more easily, without having to push against resistance. This helps deliver that vital warmth and oxygen more efficiently throughout your body. You know, it's quite interesting. You often hear about athletes incorporating lots of berries into their diets to help their muscles recover after strenuous exercise. That's partly because these same compounds help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, keeping everything working smoothly under pressure. And the wonderful thing is, these benefits aren't just for athletes. They can help all of us manage the everyday wear and tear our bodies experience. And enjoying these circulation-boosting berries couldn't be easier or more pleasant. Sprinkle a small handful over your morning oatmeal or favorite yogurt for a burst of flavor and color. Blend them into a simple, refreshing smoothie, perhaps with a little banana or that spinach we just talked about. Enjoy a small bowl of mixed berries as a light and healthy dessert or snack. You could even gently warm some frozen berries on the stovetop with a tiny splash of water, creating a lovely warm compote to spoon over pancakes, waffles, or even just some plain toast. It feels like such a comforting treat, especially on a cooler day. Finding delicious ways to include these little powerhouses is a joy in itself. Now for our third circulation-friendly food, we turn to a humble yet mighty staple that might already be a regular guest in your kitchen. I'm talking about trusty, flavorful garlic. Yes, garlic. You might be tilting your head right now, wondering, garlic? I love the taste, but how on earth does a clove of garlic help my chilly feet or tingling fingers? It's a fair question. The magic here lies within unique sulfur compounds found naturally in garlic, particularly one called allicin. This special compound isn't readily present in a whole clove. It actually gets released when the garlic is chopped, crushed, minced, or even chewed. That's when the real power is unlocked. This allicin, along with other beneficial compounds in garlic, has been the subject of quite a bit of scientific interest, and studies suggest it can play a really helpful role in improving blood flow and encouraging blood vessels to stay relaxed and open. Think of it this way. Sometimes tiny particles in our blood can get a little sticky and start to clump together, potentially creating little traffic jams in our smaller blood vessels. Slowing things down, garlic seems to gently discourage this stickiness, acting like a helpful traffic warden ensuring the roads stay clear. And traffic, your blood, can flow smoothly and efficiently without unnecessary slowdowns or blockages. When your blood flows freely, it means warmth and nutrients get delivered exactly where they need to go, right down to the tips of your toes and fingers. The wonderful thing about garlic is that you really don't need to eat enormous amounts to potentially reap these benefits. We're not suggesting you eat whole bulbs like apples. Simply incorporating a clove or two into your regular cooking can make a difference. Think about adding minced garlic to your pasta sauces, sautéing some with your vegetables, rubbing a cut clove over toasted bread, or adding it to soups, stews, marinades, or salad dressings. It adds such a wonderful depth of flavor, while potentially doing good things for your circulation. Fresh garlic, where you do the crushing or chopping yourself, is often considered the best way to maximize that allicin release. But garlic powder can still offer some benefits too. Just one gentle word of caution. While garlic is wonderful for most, consuming very large amounts might sometimes cause a bit of tummy upset or heartburn for those with sensitive digestive systems. So, as with most things, moderation is key. Start small if you're not used to eating much garlic, perhaps with just half a clove, and listen to your body. A little bit, used consistently in your delicious home cooking, is often the best approach. All right? Are you ready for that little extra surprise I promised? This one is a bit different because it's less about eating a specific food as a main part of a meal and more about a simple, comforting little ritual you might like to try, especially on those days when you feel particularly chilly. It involves using just a tiny, tiny pinch, and I really mean tiny, like just a few specks, of ground cayenne pepper. Yes, cayenne, that vibrant red spice known for its heat. The magic ingredient here is called capsaicin. It's the natural compound that gives chili peppers their characteristic warmth and spiciness. What's fascinating is that this capsaicin, even in very small amounts, can create a gentle, temporary warming sensation that you can often feel quite quickly, working from the inside out. It does this by stimulating circulation and encouraging blood vessels to widen slightly. Very similar in effect to the leafy greens we discussed, but often with a more immediate feeling of warmth. Imagine sipping on a cup of warm water with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, maybe a tiny bit of honey if you like, and then adding the smallest possible dash of cayenne pepper. Stir it well, When you sip it slowly, you might notice a pleasant, gentle warmth spreading through your chest and perhaps even radiating outwards. It feels surprisingly comforting, almost like receiving a little internal hug that helps to chase away the chill. It's not about making it fiery hot, just introducing a subtle background warmth. My dear neighbor Martha, who's well into her 80s and always seems to have rosy cheeks, absolutely swears by adding the tiniest pinch imaginable to her morning cup of warm lemon water. She says it just feels like it gets her circulation woken up for the day and helps her hands feel warmer faster. Now it's crucial to start with the absolute smallest amount possible if you decide to give this a try, literally just a few specks from the shaker at first. You can always add a tiny bit more next time if you like, but you can't take it away. Cayenne is potent and too much could be unpleasant or irritate your stomach, especially if you're prone to heartburn. This is definitely not for everyone, but if you're curious and enjoy a little warmth, it's a simple, inexpensive extra boost you could experiment with cautiously. Think of it as a charming little secret weapon against the cold, used sparingly. Now I'd love to share a little story with you that truly warmed my own heart when I heard it, and I hope it resonates with you too. It's about a wonderful gentleman named George, who was 82 years young and living up in the often quite chilly state of Minnesota. George had a real passion. He absolutely loved spending hours in his small, cozy workshop in the basement, tinkering with and repairing beautiful old clocks. It was his way of keeping his mind sharp and his hands busy, creating something tangible and bringing history back to life. But lately, his passion was becoming a source of deep frustration. His hands, particularly his fingers, were becoming so persistently cold and numb, especially during the cooler months, that handling the tiny, delicate screws, springs, and gears of the clock movements had become incredibly difficult. He described the feeling like trying to work with clumsy mittens on. He'd drop small parts. His fingers would stiffen up quickly, and the joy he once felt was starting to fade, replaced by annoyance and a sense of limitation. He worried he might have to give up his beloved hobby altogether. On top of that, his feet often felt like blocks of ice when he tried to settle down in the evenings or get to sleep at night, making it hard to get truly restful sleep. He'd tried warmer socks, heating pads, but the chill felt like it came from deep within. Then one day, his daughter came across an article, perhaps something like the chat we're having now, mentioning how certain simple foods might help support circulation naturally. She shared the ideas with George, adding more leafy greens like spinach to his meals, enjoying berries more often, and making sure to use garlic when cooking. George was, understandably, a little skeptical at first. It sounded too simple, but he respected his daughter's concern and thought, well, what have I got to lose? It's just food. He decided to give it a gentle try, without expecting any miracles. He started small, making conscious choices. He began adding a handful of spinach to his morning omelet, swapping his usual afternoon cookie for a small bowl of blueberries or raspberries, and making sure his wife added an extra clove of garlic to their evening stews and sauces. He even cautiously tried that tiny dash of cayenne in his warm water some mornings just to see. He was patient. He knew things wouldn't change overnight. But slowly, gradually, over several weeks, George started to notice subtle shifts. He realized one morning that his fingers didn't feel quite as stiff and icy when he first woke up. He found he could spend a little longer in his workshop, perhaps an extra 15 or 20 minutes, before the cold and numbness started to creep in. His focus improved slightly, as he wasn't constantly battling the discomfort. Then came a truly wonderful day. He was working on a particularly intricate old mantel clock, one with tiny, fiddly parts that had stumped him for months due to his finger troubles. And he did it. He managed to get the movement cleaned and reassembled perfectly. He held the clock, listening to its gentle ticking, and felt an immense wave of satisfaction and relief wash over him. He called his daughter later that day, his voice filled with genuine excitement, and said, "Honey, you won't believe it. My hands, they actually feel like my hands again today. I fixed the old Miller clock." It wasn't a sudden magical cure, of course. He still had days where his hands felt cooler. But those consistent, simple dietary changes had made a real, tangible difference. They brought back a significant piece of his joy, allowed him to reconnect fully with his passion, and he even mentioned he was sleeping a bit more soundly because his feet weren't quite as icy at night. Seeing the photograph his daughter sent me, showing George proudly holding that beautifully restored clock, his smile so incredibly genuine and bright. Well, it's a powerful reminder, isn't it? It shows how these simple, natural steps, these small kindnesses we do for our bodies through everyday foods can truly add up and make a meaningful difference in our quality of life and happiness. So there we have it, my dear friends. We've explored together these three wonderful everyday kitchen allies. Those vibrant leafy greens, working like gentle unkinkers for our blood vessels. Those beautiful antioxidant-rich berries, acting like little protectors keeping things flexible. And trusty, flavorful garlic, helping to keep the internal roadways clear for smooth flow. And of course, we touched upon that optional little bonus, the tiny pinch of cayenne, offering a potential, quick spark of warmth for those who might like to try it carefully. These are all simple, natural ways to gently nudge and support your body's absolutely amazing circulatory system, helping it do its vital job of delivering warmth and nourishment to every part of you. Now, the invitation I'd love to extend to you is this. Why not pick just one of these ideas that resonated with you the most today? Maybe it's the thought of adding spinach to your eggs, or enjoying a bowl of berries for dessert, or perhaps being more mindful about adding garlic to your cooking. Just choose one simple thing that feels easy and appealing, and try gently incorporating it into your meals or routines over the next week or so. See how you feel. There's absolutely no pressure, no right or wrong way to do it. Just gentle, curious exploration for your own well-being. And please, I would genuinely cherish hearing from you. If you feel comfortable sharing, please drop a comment down below. Let us know which idea you might try, or perhaps you already have your own favorite go-to food or simple trick that helps you feel warmer and more comfortable. Your wisdom and experience are so valuable, and sharing them helps us all learn from each other and build a wonderfully supportive little community right here. If you found our chat today helpful, comforting, or maybe even a little inspiring, giving this video a little thumbs up, that like button, truly does make a difference. It helps other folks who might be searching for similar gentle solutions to find this conversation too. And if you haven't already joined our little circle, please do consider subscribing to the channel. That way you won't miss out on our future chats where we'll share more simple tips, encouraging stories, and hopefully, a bit of warmth and connection. Finally, if someone came to mind as we were talking today, perhaps a friend, a neighbor, or a family member who you know also struggles with feeling chilly or might appreciate these simple ideas, please feel free to share this video with them. Sometimes sharing a little bit of helpful information is a wonderful way to show you care. Thank you ever so much for spending this precious time with me today. It truly is always a pleasure to connect with you. Stay cozy, be kind and gentle with yourself. Take wonderful care of your amazing self, and I truly look forward to chatting with you again very soon in the next video. Bye for now.